Sonic 2's launch wouldn't have been nearly as memorable or successful. Without a doubt, these golden Sonic 2 carts are the rarest release of the game, as they technically weren't really released. They're essentially trophy pieces that were internally gifted to the team for their unforgettable work. We don't know how many of these were made, and most of them haven't even been documented, but they are oh so cool. The game's first non-Genesis release came in 1993, as part of Sega's MegaTech and MegaPlay line of arcade boards. That's right, Sonic 2 saw an arcade release. The MegaTech release features a timer that is constantly counting down, and whenever that timer reaches 0, you needed to insert more credits to bump it up by 3 minutes. On the MegaPlay version, there isn't a timer at all, but to make the game harder, all extra life monitors were replaced by rings, and the special stages have been removed as well. In these versions, there is also no way to play through the game as anything but Sonic and Tails together. They're not super interesting, but given their additional difficulty, both of these make for a great way to play through the game with new challenges. The first home console re-release of Sonic 2 was fittingly on Sega's next console, the Sega Saturn, as part of Sonic Jam. Sonic 2's inclusion in Jam was essentially the same as Sonic 1. There weren't many substantial additions to the game itself, it was just a great way to play through the game on Sega's next console, and it did have some extra modes. Today, though, I'd rather not focus on the Saturn version of Sonic Jam. Instead, let's talk about the other Sonic Jam. So, the GameCom was a 5th-generation handheld device released by Tiger Electronics in 1997. It displays only in black and white, is extremely bulky and slow, but it did have a touchscreen. Somehow, they were able to sign a deal with Sega to release a version of Sonic Jam for their system, and this was the result. How does it compare to the Saturn version? Well, the GameCom wasn't exactly as powerful as the Saturn, or even the Genesis. This was really just a flawed concept from the start. For some reason, Sonic 1 just isn't here, but Sonic 2, 3, and Knuckles are. Well, okay, not really. Sure, there are short, truncated versions of each game where you only play through a few levels, and those levels don't really resemble anything from the originals outside of visuals and enemies, but, hey, you can play as all 3 characters. You can even find a special stage based off of Sonic 3's blue spheres, but since this is in black and white, you're tasked with finding black spheres. Technically speaking, this was advertised as a collection of levels from Sonic's past hits and not full games. It really is just a few levels. You can play through the entire game in under an hour. This is nothing like the Saturn version, it's not a collection of Sonic games. However, the main menu does say game selection, and Sonic 2 is represented here, so it counts. Honestly, it's strange this was even called Sonic Jam. Not only because the box art uses Sonic art artwork for some reason, but truthfully, yeah, it's just a few levels from each game put together. I can't believe this is official. It reminds me way too much of those pirated Game Boy Sonic games. Apart from in-game assets and art, this is nothing like the Sonic Jam most people know of. Though, believe it or not, even this bizarre release has some interesting unused content. In the final release, only those 3 games are included, but this screenshot that originates from a promotional booklet that was included with the GameCom clearly shows that at some point, a version of Sonic 3D Blast was considered for the system. This would have been hugely ambitious for the system. You've seen how it handles 2D Sonic games? Imagine a 3D one. Maybe this was just a mock-up. In pretty much all of the promotional material for this game, they used mock-ups or prototype screenshots instead of ones from the final release. Take a look at the back of the game's box. None of these screenshots are from the actual game. This one features an early unused Knuckles sprite in a more detailed Emerald Hill. This one shows Sonic in a different looking Mushroom Hill, and this one asks you to collect blue spheres, which we all know is inaccurate. At least it's not asking you to grab blue balls. There are a few more early screenshots floating around, such as this one showing off a game-comified version of Sonic 3's opening cutscene, as well as one of its title screen, neither of which are in the final game. It's really weird so much the promo material doesn't line up with what was released. It's probably a case of false advertising, but maybe the developers lost a much more completed version of the game sometime late in development and had to quickly rush together what we see today. In any case, it's pretty impressive that this, a Sonic game for the Tiger GameCom, was even made. Shoutouts to the developers. I'm sure making this was a very stressful time. Sonic 1 was released for the Sega Dreamcast in a not-so-great collection called Sega Smash Pack Volume 1. Despite the name, there was never a Volume 2 for the Dreamcast, but there actually were more collections released under this branding on other systems and devices. One, simply titled Sega Smash Pack, was released for the Game Boy Advance and features Sonic Spinball. Before the Dreamcast release, this series of collections started on the PC, with the first volume coming out in February 1999. A second pack containing Sega puzzle games was also released in 1999, but the third PC release, which was titled Sega Smash Pack 2, was released in the year 2000 and featured Sonic 2. Curiously, none of the PC releases contained Sonic 1. The emulation in this release is pretty spot on, apart apart from the sound, which has always been notorious when it comes to Sega Genesis re-releases. Besides that, it was a pretty solid way to play Sonic 2 on your computer, especially for 2000 standards. Additionally, Sega Smash Pack 2 was included in a 4-pack of Sonic PC games called the Sonic Action 4-pack, and it was also included in a twin pack that contained the 2 main volumes in one release. Moving into the 2000s, that's where the quantity of Sonic game collections really amped up, and nearly all of them featured Sonic 2. The game was included in Sonic Mega Collection for the Nintendo GameCube, released in 2002. Sonic Mega Collection Plus, an updated version of the collection for the PS2, Xbox, and PC, features the original lineup, including Sonic 2 and the Xbox version of Mega Collection Plus was released in a 2-pack with Super Monkey Ball Deluxe, and that game itself is basically a collection of Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2. That's some good value. A special demo of the game was included in Sonic Gems Collection. In that game's gallery, you can unlock a timed demo that starts you off at Death Egg Zone, allowing you to face the final bosses before time runs out. The blandly titled Sega Genesis Collection was released for the PS2 and PSP in 2006, with Sonic 2 being one of its 28 titles. The PSP version was later available as a downloadable game on the PlayStation Vita. Sonic PC Collection is a compilation of 4 Sonic computer games, with one of those being Sonic Mega Collection Plus. This was unfortunately only released in PAL regions, and was released on October 1st, 2009. In 2011, to celebrate Sonic's 20th anniversary, an anniversary edition of this collection was released, containing a special mouse and mouse pad. In 2010, Sonic Classic Collection was released for the Nintendo DS. This collection contains Sonic 1 through Sonic and Knuckles. However, the games have been edited to remove certain features. Younger me was just devastated when he learned he couldn't do the Assura glitch on his DS. At least they included Knuckles in Sonic 2. Now that we're done with collections, let's move on to some real ports. Mobile ports. In 2006, a Java port of Sonic 2 was released.
What are you? Great go!
Appears to be pretty close to the original, or at least as close as
Let's use that pen as an easier escape. No, just go with it. Phew! That was a doozy. Now to stabilize steering. This was
released in Japan. However, it appears it was the basis of other mobile versions of the game that were released in other territories. Introducing Sonic 2 Dash and Sonic 2 Crash. What? These 2 games were released in 2008, and together make a complete mobile release of Sonic 2. See, even in 2008, the game was too big to fit onto one download for most phones, so they split it up. Dash contains the first 5 zones, while Crash contains the remaining zones. Keep in mind, this version of the game was made for flip phones, so nowadays they're nothing amazing, but were a pretty good novelty for the time. To make things a bit more confusing, there exist multiple versions of these 2 games, with different versions made for the varying powers of smartphones back then. What you've been seeing so far is the more advanced version. Here's the version of Sonic 2 Dash made for lower-end phones.
MIDI music.
Yeah, this is a very poor port, but likely all they could do back then for those lower-end models. Tails is nowhere to be seen, it skipped zones, and the graphics took a massive hit. The MIDI music is the least of its concerns. Clearly not the best way to plly the game, but very interesting regardless.
I like
For a more
MIDIs.
accurate Sonic 2 phone experience, 2010 brought us the game for iOS devices. Released at $5.99, this version is simply an emulated ROM with touchscreen controls. Not nearly as interesting as the wonderful Java versions, but much more accurate. You know, I've always liked these assets they made for the original iOS releases of Sonic 1 and 2. They use modern Sonic art despite being classic games. These were released back when modern and classic Sonic really were just one character. These in Classic Collection were the last time Sega treated this as such. Besides the art used though, this release is pretty uninteresting. However, the original iOS port was eventually replaced by quickly following their fantastic remaster of Sonic 1, on December 13, 2013, the third Retro Engine Sonic remake was released, the 2013 mobile port of Sonic 2. If you already have the now obsolete 2010 version, you could download a free update that changed that simple version into this wonderful recreation. This is just as good as their Sonic 1 port, if not better. All the improvements brought to Sonic 1 have been added to Sonic 2. A widescreen display, a smooth frame rate, all 3 characters are playable, leaderboards, and more. Unfortunately, just like Sonic 1, this version has only been released for mobile platforms like iOS and Android. You could use an emulator to play them on your PC, and I guess stuff like Apple TV and the Amazon Fire Stick let you play them on a TV, but these These are great ports, the definitive way to play these games, and yet they're still only on phones. Maybe someday they'll be brought to other platforms. Regardless,